Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole. Okay. Whew. It's really funny. Maybe not ironic. I don't know what to call it, but coincidence, karma, a blessing. I don't know, but it's just crazy how men for years kept putting down my dating standards. And it wasn't until November of 2022 that I posted officially my standards because after my 7-year relationship, breaking up with him, looking back at my 5-year relationship, and then also looking back at different, disgusting, awful, vile, evil, sexist, just misogynistic, cruel, dominant, like type of men, etc., etc. It goes on and on. Selfish, and not able to keep a good credit score, but and also they never want you to have anything for yourself, but whenever they need gas money and everything like that, they expect you to loan them money, but then when you ask for it back, oh no, you're helping me out, it's us, but that it's never helping us, just him. Yeah, those type of men. Yeah, it's like Mr. No Heart, Mr. Lock Key, that especially includes you, but also a few others. A few. Oh, and one who was about to propose to me, but since I would not quit my job, and I think that's one reason why that the Hallmark series, I can talk about the Hallmark movies and just the psychology of, oh, a woman's gonna leave her job for a man. No, because I literally had a man threaten to break up with me and to like and late it wasn't until 2 years later when he was begging for me back. I repeat that. He was begging for me back. But since I didn't quit my job and be a good girl, it's like, and just go with all of his commitment, because part of me just feels like, okay, if I did quit that job, were you gonna have a job lined up for me? Were you gonna start, like, even though he hardly had a dime to his name, his parents were about to buy him a business, but he had nothing. Him personally, he had nothing. Everything was going to be coming from his parents with his privilege. You know what kind of privilege I'm talking about. But yeah, it's like sometimes it's like I just have to uh, I don't think about this stuff every day, so sometimes I'm just like, why do these movies hit me the wrong way? Why do I get so agitated? And it's like sometimes I fall in and I'm like, ooh, yay. It's like at least, she's finding happiness. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh heck no. It's like she's a lawyer, she's a businesswoman, she's conquering, she's doing her thing. Why in the world is she doing this for a man? For a man. And yes, it's like so many of us women, I used to be one of them, used to think about and dream about the wedding day and the like I used to think I was going to have just like a busload of kids because I want to adopt and foster too. Yeah, not all the natural way. Not all the natural way. But I thought that I would have a great and amazing husband who we both have our businesses and we help each other out. And I just like, I'm hopping off subject to subject, but you guys know I'm sloppy. But now I'm hearing about these conservative Republican 45 loving women who are now saying liberals are threatening them with the whole 4B movement. It's like, this has nothing to do with you. You made your choice. We know you love like conservative, sexist, like demeaning men, and it's like, if your guy isn't like that, congratulations. But also think about, like, especially a lot of them who have kids, if you get pregnant again, and you have complications, your husband voted that he doesn't care about how you end up. He voted for the child over you. And yeah, I'm not saying the child's life isn't worth it, but isn't he kind of saying he doesn't love you as much? Isn't he kind of saying that your life doesn't matter as much, just a little bit? Especially the Christians who, because I'm a Christian woman, so I was brainwashed and grew up in, and some people are like, oh no, you said brainwashed. Yes, I did. Because especially when it comes to the the woman and the bride and the responsibilities of the wife and the mother and everything like that, brainwashed, total brainwash. But yeah, it's like, but all of my life, I looking at other married couples, and then sometimes people I didn't even know, women I didn't even know, would tell me it was not worth it, and that they wish they didn't marry him, or they were the only option, or they were young and they knew that if they got married when they were older, it would look suspicious or odd, and or their parents were like, oh, marry the guy down the street. He's nice. Oh, and look at his job. He'll take good care of you. I I don't want a man to just take care of me. I want a man who respects and I can have fun with, and we're actually friends, and he's just not taking care of me. Yeah, because I know one of the Republican women, she was insulted when someone told her to make her husband a sandwich. He works 60 hours. He does this. He does this. Yes, I am going to make him a sandwich. Well, good for you. Good for you. And you know what? It's like I love cooking. I love doing those kind of like so me, but it depends. If he asks me to make him a sandwich and I'm already either in the kitchen or I'm I'm free and available, and or I'm not doing anything, but at the same time it's like, okay, uh why can't you make your own sandwich? Yeah, I'm one of those women. I'm going to wonder that. It's like, cuz it's not my job. I'm not your maid, your mother, your secretary, or no. No. And also, I'm the kind of woman who I like to plan ahead. So I might would say, oh well, there's some snacks and goodies and things in the refrigerator and cupboards already, so you can, grab one of those. Because more than likely I'm going to be working on my business. More than likely I'm going to be like eat like especially if I have adopted and fostered kids, I might be like helping them with homework or doing something with them. Or I might, especially if I'm making dinner, I'm like, yeah, there's snacks, like grab a snack until dinner's ready or whatever, like that. But am I just gonna jump and make a man a sandwich because he asked for a sandwich? Who? No, I don't know. Part of me just feels like that's part of a horror movie for me. It's like, if it's a two-way street, if it's a two-way street, I cannot, like, yeah, because if it's only him asking me, no. But if there's a time where I want a sandwich or some chips or popcorn or whatever, if I'm able, or if not a fancy type of cup or flavored cup of coffee or beverage or something, I mean, if he's willing to give me that while I'm typing up a story or working, packaging like shipments and things for the business. But I say all of that to say, and oh well, yeah, I'm already halfway through and I never even kind of introduced myself. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But I am the Handicapable Black woman. I am, for right now, a children's author, and I have tons more coming out. But yeah, I multitask a little too much because I'm working on getting my first novel out, also my greeting card business, and a few other projects in store. And also with my disability life, I'm newly diagnosed after years of doctors telling me the pain was in my head until, yeah, there's stupidity. Even though people are doctors, doctors doesn't mean you're smart. Doesn't mean that you use common sense. Doctors doesn't mean you have compassion, empathy, sympathy, or anything like that. Doctors just means you like spent a lot of time in school. And well, I mean, okay, it's like there are some great doctors, so I don't want to put them all down, but I had a lot of idiotic doctors, and like even up until my early 30s. And I'm going to be doing a video with his face in one of the videos. One of the videos when I was literally having to hold on to walls in order to walk because that's how much pain I was in. And when I was told, I went to the doctor um, because I had an earache, but also wanted to ask about my knee. He told me go home and lose weight. And about a year and a half later, I could no longer walk. Yeah. So that's like I tell my story throughout the videos or the episodes. So if you want to catch up, you will hear about Mr. No Heart, Mr. Lockakey, all that jazz too. But hi, hello, how are you? I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day. And yeah, let me get into it because I can already tell this is going to be at least a 2 or 3 parts. Yeah. But anyways, I guess it might be karma with my list of standards on my dating profile. And you know what? I wish I could have written more or talk about myself, but I had to create this force field, this shield for me because I had to make sure men knew that I'm not going to deal with the quote unquote conservative men. And some conservative men are like, I pass everything but the first item. And yeah, maybe, excuse me, but a lot, especially conservative men who do not have higher education, the way they put me down, the way they try to insult me. Oh, especially white guys who try to say, well, black women aren't that smart anyway. I've heard it more than 4 or 5 times from white men. And then from my ex's mother. I never heard it straight from my ex, but there were times where either he was jealous, upset, or something in between about the difference in our education levels. But so that, I mean, I know, and like I said in several episodes, I know some people are going to say I'm stuck up with the education thing, but I worked my tush off. And when men try to degrade me, because usually it's men who don't have the higher education who try to degrade my hard work, and they tell me I'm a nerd, or I'm a square, or I'm a waste of time, or I oh, smart woman's going to be too hard to deal with, or I'm going to be too opinionated, or I'm going to try to tell him what to do, or I'm going to have an actual opinion, and et cetera, et cetera. It's a long list of things. But when I talk about my standards, it's really crazy how now after the election, a lot more women are going to be dating based off of politics. And I have been dating based off politics since after I broke up with George from my church. And I'll tell that whole story. I will tell that whole story. But and I can say his name because no one knows about us dating. No one knows about him. No one will know about him. So I can say that one. And he's happily married now. And I when I found out he was getting married, I did a celebratory dance too. I'm like, yep, go get married. Yep. It was like I was in it to win it and everything like that. So, but yeah, because I think I coded his name earlier. No, I don't. No, I'm not sure. But anyway, I have my standards because And it's just crazy how many men trolled me, mocked me, put me down, and especially with when it comes to the trans community, and like when it comes to just equal rights, and for like government money. People are like, oh, so you're okay with people getting free money? You're okay with, like, oh, Black Lives Matter, are they going to give you money? And it's just like, what? Like, okay, other than Fox News and some of the other hate group loving news channels, who do you listen to? Because you're really ignorant and mm, uneducated. And yeah, I'm trying to use nice words because I really want to use certain words right now, but I'm not going to. But it's just crazy with how now certain of my standards are now other a lot of women are doing the same thing. And how many men years ago, what does politics have to do with everything? Politics don't matter in a relationship. It matters about if he's loyal, and if he's like, yeah, because I remember this one idiot. Like, yeah, I'll call him an idiot because sometimes when men try to mansplain or they try to tell me who, okay, when men are trying to tell me who I am supposed to pursue and who I am supposed to date, and that I am supposed to date the opposite of what I want or desire, that's crazy. When these men turn around and try to tell me that I am wrong with wanting a man that I actually want to date, that I will actually be interested in, I'm like, men act like I'm not allowed to be happy. As long as the man is happy with the woman's body, that's all that matters. As long as a man is happy with how a woman cooks, that's all that matters. As long as a woman cleans his house, that's all that matters. That's just kind of the scope that I'm getting, because a lot of these men have called me the R word, slave, N word, the B word, the C word, the P word, and just it's like, and but it's just crazy now, because now men are hiding their political affiliation because so many women are doing the same thing I am. It's like I did it way before it was trending, and it feels really good. It's like, how do you say I told you so? Yeah, because when I was alone doing this, because, and the funny thing is, with the Trump supporting women who only dated Trump men, it's like, part of me is like, okay, guys, date them. Date the women who will only date you. Why are you, instead of trolling me, why aren't you looking for the troll, like just the 45 Republican MAGA loving women? It's like so many of these men are taking out their anger of being single, of a woman not desiring them. And I don't know why they don't desire them, other than maybe it might be one of my standards. Because, a lot of the men who have been in prison, oh, they are so insulted. They are like, a lot of times they are the most sensitive. They, like, the men who've been in prison are the most sensitive. They weren't sensitive about the crime they committed, but they are the most sensitive when you say you will not date them because they have been in prison. And then the men who don't have higher education, they all of a sudden, well, I'm going to make more money than any. It's not about the money. And see, a lot of these men show their reading comprehension because a lot of men who don't have higher education, but they might have their own business or they might make decent money, They automatically want to brag to me how much money they make when it's not about the money. They are men, and a lot of them are white men with that don't have the higher education that yell at me, and they don't realize that men just like them are usually the ones that tell me a woman is wasting her time getting a higher education, or that I am not supposed to go to college, or I just have a fancy piece of paper, or that it's a man's job. I have been like, and even with relationships, Mr. No Heart's mom telling me the only reason I got into college is because I'm black. He got into college, but he escorted himself out of college. But instead of realizing that some people are determined, stubborn, and bullheaded, and they get through it and they just don't quit like he did. I repeat, they just don't quit like he did. She didn't want to give me props. She just wants to say that the only reason I got through it, but then I still want to know why do you think I got into grad school? Do you think I got into both grad schools just because I'm black? And you know what? If that was the case, I finished. Your son who got into college with scholarships, yeah, he dropped out. Your son dropped out, but you want to blame me and put me down because I was dedicated and stubborn enough to push through and get through and finish, complete it, accomplish it. And a lot of these men keep doing that. And yeah, I just dogged out the African American men because yeah, a lot of African American men do it, but they do it for different reasons. They had like both of them do it for control, but like a lot of the white men can't stand that a black woman has done it. They think that they are the ones that are supposed to have conquered above, and that's one reason why some white guys say they're so interested in me and they want to date me, and then it's like because Tomas, he asked me to be like, we were talking for months. He took me out on a date, and even after the date, we were talking and everything. But the day I sent him the link to my third or fourth children's books, I forget, like, I'm trying to remember which book it was, but I believe it was my third or fourth children's book. That's when he blocked me. That's when he ghosted me. And later on, when because you don't have a first date at the person's house because that means that person can just drive to your house and find out what's going on. But yeah, that's when he told me that I was too good for him. And then there was a guy, I think it's Steven or something like that. It was a basic name. But he begged to go out with me and he wanted to go out with me so badly. And it's like he was like, "Oh yeah, it's so cool. You're an author. You write children's books." But then the second time we met up and talked to whatever, all of a sudden he takes out a really thick book, like not encyclopedia, but it was like a really thick, like a book. He said, "Well, if I was gonna be an author, if I was gonna write books, it would be like this. What you write is nothing." And he was in prison before twice. So a lot of these no good men who dog me out or try to dog me out for having my standards, I have it for a reason. Because, oh my gosh, Thomas and Stephen both were in prison. And some people are going to be like, wow, okay, why'd you date so many men with records? Was it on purpose? But with Thomas, he told me right off the gate, and our conversations were so amazing. And being a sapiosexual, he kept up with conversation because he has his own business too. And it's like neither one have higher education, but with Thomas, the conversation was great because he had a passion too. I used, like, instead of education, I used to just say, you must have a passion. But then when it came to my education, even those men who had a passion, they would still put me down for my education. They would still mock me or just act like it's not my place. Or they try to tell me that a woman doesn't know how to run a business, so let them be in charge, or let's partner up. Because even though they've never written a book, they have no idea about the publishing industry. They don't know about the marketing of a book and like the step by steps or anything like that. But a lot of men, especially men that don't have the education, or men who have been in prison, or men who just love taking power, tried to take power over my goals and dreams. And if it's either that or they told me, no, 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 no. I'm not having a girl run her own business. Oh, you think you're gonna, if that's, you better just play house. And yeah, it's like if you date me, you're quitting that. It's like I'm not having any of that. And so it's just crazy because with a lot of these men, for some reason, they just think that I'm just supposed to be. And that's one reason I can tell if a guy is more conservative. Because even some men who say they're moderate, no, you're just ashamed to say that you're Republican. No. So because real liberal men, because I have talked to him, like there was one guy I was supposed to date, but yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like even though a guy is liberal doesn't mean he's gonna be a good guy. That doesn't being liberal doesn't make you good. And even with my what makes a villain story, anybody can be a villain. And especially like after the elections or growing up in the church, a Christian can be a villain like, do you know how many pastors have been arrested for certain crimes? And well, not even certain, but even money, bribery, and but especially the the same type of things the popes that were caught doing. Yeah, a lot of them have been getting arrested for that lately. And yes, that's a little off topic, but you know. But I'm going to talk more into this, especially getting deeper into the Republican portion, because I just find it so fascinating how so many men are now hiding their political stance. But they don't, or they try to lie, because now some of them are going to say that they're Democrat or liberal. Honey, you haven't messed with me, you haven't met me, and I'm even going to try to create a video. Well, you know what? No. Better yet, I'm going to create on Patreon a list of questions to ask these men. Because I'm working on the Patreon too, too much to work on, but yeah, I'm gonna create a list because if these men want to say they're liberal, buckle up, buttercup. This is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too. And stick to your standards. If you know the type, sometimes a guy may not check everyone. And I, the only one that they don't have to have higher education, but they have to respect my education. They have to respect who I am and what I worked hard for. And so many men don't. The red pill has like they're suffocating on that red pill a little bit.